your immediate society at all levels,
Yes.
not forgetting the fact that Yola records a 77% illiteracy.
Yes.
How do you cope with that?
What a laboratory for learning. So the AUN classroom is not only a beautifully equipped campus, our classroom is the community. So we want Nigerian graduates who not only know that they're living in a country, in a part of the country where there are many people who can't read, that they should be helping them learn how to read. So in one class, AUN students learn how to teach literacy. And then they go out in the community and they're teaching young children to read and write. And instead of writing a paper at the end of that class, they write a book for their students, which we then print, we make electronic, and our vision is to make everything we do mobile. So those 11 million children out of school in Nigeria at least can have books and phonics and things to read while they're on the street corners.
Well, you're making great use from your rendition. You're making great use of technology.
Yes.
In a country, I mean, we're struggling, we're trying very hard, but we also know that we don't have enough power to
Yes.
to power all the cell phones that exist in Nigeria right now.
Right.
So when your emphasis is on smartphones and education with e-tablets,
Yes.
how do you expect people who do not have electricity to benefit from those programs?
Well, let me tell you one innovative thing
Yes.
we've done, because we're very aware of the environment that we live in. Many, if not most, undergraduate students or first-degree students in Nigeria have laptops. The NUC and the national government's done a good job ensuring that. We've been creating digital libraries like mad for universities, the Federal College of Education, the School of Nursing next door, Adamawa State University. Their vice chancellors or their directors will call or write and say, we need some new educational resources. Will you help us? So we put them on a flash drive and we hand out libraries all over the community, the law school next door, so that when people can power up their computers, the world's knowledge is at their fingertips. So
When they can power. Yes, that's
Yes.
not your responsibility
Yes.
now, yes?
exactly.
Go ahead.
But what other alternatives are there? So when there is power, people, let me give you an example. In Yola, we are training thousands of vulnerable youth and elderly people to use ICT. People have said, why would you do that? There's no power. Why are you training older people how to read? In our first graduating class, I shook the hand of an 83-year-old man. And I said, sir, I'm so proud of you, but what will you do with your new educational and IT skills? And he said to me, and this is the answer, he said, I'm going to MIT's website. I could never have an education. Now I can get a free education from one of the best universities in the world. I think it's that simple.
He said that.
Yes, he did.
That's absolutely touching. But do you not also think that you're doing remarkable work, but you're creating an oasis in a place called Yola Adamawa to the exclusion of the rest of Nigeria? Are there any collaborative programs you have with other universities sprung all over Nigeria?
Well, let me tell you about an important one right in Adamawa State, because we reach out to anyone who comes to us for a digital library. You may or may not know that Adamawa State was damaged when the insurgents took Mubi. The vice chancellor of that university came and said, we have over 1,000 students who are ready to graduate. They only need 6 weeks. Can you help us? So we're not taking 1,000. I don't have room for 1,000, but we're taking all of his seniors in the sciences, in biology and chemistry and physics, and putting them on our campus so they can graduate. I think that's what a development university does. It assists our partner universities, especially one in such great need. We started something called the Yola Higher Education Committee. Yes, it's just Yola, but there are 13 institutions of higher education in Yola. We would love to partner with universities around the country and are very open to doing that.
And you know, there are those who are listening to us who might be misguided and think that what the American University in Nigeria is trying to do is promote American-style education. Probably your programs are not approved by the National University Commission. There might be those who are under that notion. for the avoidance of doubt, would
Yes.
you clear the air?
Let me tell you very clearly that your National Universities Commission is one of the toughest in the world, stronger than what I found in America when I was having programs accredited. They're strong, they're independent. No university operates in Nigeria without their approval. So I'm very proud to say we have 100% accreditation from NUC for all of our academic programs in all of our schools and faculties.
Now, again, I'm coming to how many faculties you have at the American University of
We have
Nigeria?
3 schools or faculties. Is that the question? Because we call a faculty member. But we have 3 schools or faculties: business and entrepreneurship, computer science and information technology, and arts and sciences, which is really more of an American type of organization where we do everything from economics to petroleum chemistry to natural sciences to international and comparative politics. So we have many majors or programs within those 3 faculties.
You have been in Nigeria now for 6 years. That's
5.
5 years. Okay, that's about half a decade. What is your summation in general of the educational standards in Nigeria?
I think the standards are very high. I think with such a rapidly growing population, as you and I discussed, before too long you'll be the 3rd largest country in the world. I think it's very difficult for a traditional approach to education to respond to rapid demographic growth. So the standards are high, but access isn't. And one of the reasons we're pushing on technology as a solution is because it's very difficult to build enough primary schools, secondary schools, universities to respond to this very rapid population growth. So that's why we're pioneering uses of technology in the university as well as in our community to try to develop some solutions to these challenges. We don't look at problems at AUN, we look at solutions, and that's what we're trying to focus on.
Now, what solutions have you been able to proffer? You know that up there in the north,
Yes.
there are many young people who are referred to as Almajiris. I mean,
Yes.
I know the federal government is trying to tackle that problem through a different approach,
Yes.
building special schools. But there are those who are sitting back, as you just said, it's difficult to build that many physical schools.
Yes.
So what else is the solution?
Well, let me tell you about 2 programs that I think could be expanded very quickly. One we call Stellar, Students Empowered Through Language, Literature, and Arithmetic. And it was designed at AUN. So it's phonics, it's reading, writing, and it's mathematics from about 3 years old and up. And we've written the software, we've loaded on Samsung tablets. This semester, my wonderful computer science students are writing apps in Hausa in Fulfulde, because all the research shows that if we learn another language in our mother tongue, you learn it faster and better. So we're pioneering that not only in primary schools throughout Yola in after-school programs, where our students and our teachers, our faculty, are there tutoring and teaching. We're just beginning one with those Almajiri youth. And we do live in a part of the world where there are thousands and millions of young people on the street. And I have to say, it's heartbreaking. So we have a feeding program for many of those young people. They get a card every morning that says in Hausa, "We love you, you are special." And they take that card to a woman who's now making income because she's cooking for them. And now
And she feeds them for free.
well, we pay for
You
it.
pay,
We
okay,
pay for
you
it.
pay.
They get a
But
little
the
card.
kids- the
They
kids-
take the
okay.
card. She gets paid for cooking for them. And now our wonderful AUN students have said, this is our chance to teach them how to read. We'll go to the feeding centers and do Stellar there. So there's a spirit of entrepreneurship, of solving problems out there, of kind of a can-do spirit that I think can be replicated and I'm sure exists in other parts of the country. But much of this is driven by students. So to get back to your first question, what's a development university? It's a university where students believe they're going to be leaders and they can solve problems and they can come up with solutions themselves. So I was so proud last weekend when our student government president said, let us take that on. The university is doing the feeding. Let us combine that now with tutoring.
Education.
And it's wonderful. Yes.
But I forget the word that I'm looking for. When you start something, you propel it, and enough people buy into it so that it
Yes.
has a life of its own.
Yes.
How are you going to get that happen?
Well, it's already started. We're doing stellar throughout the primary schools. We're teaching tens of thousands of young people and older people how to access the internet. Why? Because the world's knowledge is there. The other thing that's important is I mentioned this Adamawa Peace Initiative. So it's the university and the community working together, religious leaders, community leaders. We've become best friends. When one of the
And you think this can be replicated in other parts of
Absolutely.
Nigeria? Not just in your enclave, but in other parts
No.
of
Last
Nigeria?
December, we held a peace conference, and we invited peace activists, academics, community leaders from the Northeast, as well as Taraba and Bauchi and Gombe. And we had 100 people on that campus saying, let's figure out how to replicate this in the whole region, not just in Adamawa State. And every person who was at that conference has said, let's do it. So we're looking for the resources to do that. We also have been doing peace journalism for the media, from not just from the region. Before the election, we have media training for journalists from around the country. Because as you know, as an experienced journalist, you can tell stories very differently. And there's a whole new brand of journalism that says, let's tell war through the story of peace. So we really are trying to reach out far beyond the borders, not just of our university and our community and our state, but the region and the country at large.
But how would you respond to those who might say to you, you're moving away from your area of core competence, which should be, okay, yes, you're a development university, and I understand you're interacting with the community and building problem solvers,
Yes.
but the attention and time and the focus that you require to concentrate on your core competence area, isn't that being depleted?
I would argue exactly the opposite.
Okay.
What does the 21st century need? Does it need a student who sat in the classroom for 4 years and learned history? Or does it need a student who's a great writer, a great thinker, who's learning all the time, who knows how to access information from the internet and evaluate it, and who knows how to apply it? That's what's missing in higher education, in my view, is the ability to take knowledge and make it usable knowledge. So I would say quite the contrary. UN, not only are students getting a world-class education, and they're being accepted at the best graduate schools around the world, at Columbia and Georgetown, where I've taught, at Carnegie Mellon, they're working at Google. So the proof is in the alums, and I challenge you to look to see where they are and what they're doing. So not only are they getting a world-class university in Nigeria, they're learning how to apply it, they're learning how to solve problems, and they are choosing where to work.
And very quickly before we go on break, because
Yes.
my producers are breathing down my neck, that
Yes.
we go on break. But you said something in our earlier discussion that was Google's reaction to some activity they saw in your part of Nigeria.
Yes.
Tell me a little. Tell our viewers a little more about that.
So I was quite surprised. I'm from California. I was
Yes.
quite surprised. 2 years ago, I opened my door, and here were these a group of women and men from Mountain View, California, where Google is based. And I said, I'm so happy to have you here. Why are you here? And I'll always remember their words. They said, we watch our worldwide usage map daily, and there's this very bright light pulsating from northern Nigeria, and we had to come and see what it was. What it was the American University of Nigeria using Google, using the internet, not just on campus, but all this training we're doing in the community. And they came and they were impressed, and they gave us some additional funds to make sure that the community and our secondary school also had access. So we're quite proud of that.
Well, can I call you Maggie?
Yes, yes, of course.
Professor Ensign, we'll take a break here because my producers are asking me so to do. But after the break, you'll have ample opportunity to deal with issues and subjects we haven't touched on just now.
Thank you.
Well, viewers, thank you very much for investing part of your time with us. This is One-on-One for this day with Professor Margee Ensign, the president of American University Nigeria, called AUN. We'll welcome your emails and messages we're gleaning from our website after the break. Please don't go away.